The National Weather Service has issued Tornado Watch number 420 for the following counties in Alabama: Autauga, Baldwin, Barber, Bibb, Blount, Bullock, Butler, Calhoun, Chambers, Cherokee, Chilton, Choctaw, Clark, Clay, Cleburne, Coffee, Colbert, Conecuh, Coolsa, Covington, Crenshaw, Cullman, Dale, Dallas, DeKalb, Elmore, Escambia, Etowah, Fayette, Franklin, Geneva, Greene, Hale, Henry, Houston, Jackson, Jefferson, Lamar, Lauderdale, Lawrence, Lee, Limestone, Lowndes, Macon, Madison, Marengo, Marion, Marshall, Mobile, Monroe, Montgomery, Morgan, Perry, Pickens, Pike, Randolph, Russell, St. Clair, Shelby, Sumter, Talladega, Tallapoosa, Tuscaloosa, Walker, Washington, Wilcox, and Winston. The following boroughs in Alaska: Aleutians East, Aleutians West, Anchorage, Bethel, Bristol Bay, Denali, Dillingham, Fairbanks North Star, Haines, Juneau, Keeney Peninsula, Ketchikan Gateway, Kodiak Island, Lake, and Peninsula, Matanuska-Susitna, Nome, North Slope, Northwest Arctic, Prince of Wales Outer Ketchikan, Sitka, Skagway, Southeast Fairbanks, Valdez Cordova, Wade Hampton, Wrangell, and Ucutit. The following counties in Arizona: Apache, Cochise, Coconino, Gila, Graham, Greenlee, La Paz, Maricopa, Mojave, Navajo, Pima, Pinal, Santa Cruz, Yavapai, and Yuma. In Arkansas: Ashley, Baxter, Benton, Boone, Bradley, Calhoun, Carroll, Chickett, Clark, Clay, Cleburne, Cleveland, Columbia, Conway, Craighead, Crawford, Crittenden, Cross, Dallas, Desha, Drew, Faulkner, Franklin, Fulton, Garland, Grant, Greene, Hempstead, Hot Spring, Howard, Independence, Izard, Jackson, Jefferson, Johnson, Lafayette, Lawrence, Lee, Lincoln, Little River, Logan, Lonoke, Madison, Marion, Miller. Mississippi: Monroe, Montgomery, Nevada, Newton, Ouachita, Perry, Phillips, Pike, Poinsett, Polk, Pope, Prairie, Pulaski, Randolph, St. Francis, Saline, Scott, Searcy, Sebastian, Sevier, Sharp, Stone, Union, Van Buren, Washington, White, Woodruff, and Yell. In California: Alameda, Alpine, Mamdar, Butte, Calaveras, Colusa, Contra Costa, Del Norte, El Dorado, Fresno, Glen, Humboldt, Imperial, Inyo, Curtin, Kings, Lake, Lassen, Los Angeles, Madera, Marin, Mariposa, Mendocino, Merced, Monarch, Mono Monterey, Napa, Nevada, Orange, Placer, Plumas, Riverside, Sacramento, San Benito, San Bernardino, San Diego, San Francisco, San Joaquin, San Luis Obispo, San Mateo, Santa Barbara, Santa Clara, Santa Cruz, Shasta, Sierra, Siskiyou, Solano, Sonoma, Stanislaus, Sutter, Tehama, Trinity, Tuer, Tuolumne, Ventura, Yellow, and Yuba. In Colorado: Adams, Alamosa, Arapahoe, Archuleta, Baca, Bent, Boulder, Broomfield, Chaffee, Cheyenne, Clear Creek, Conejas, Castilla, Crowley, Custer, Delta, Denver, Dolores, Douglas, Eagle, Elbert, El Paso, Fremont, Garfield, Gilpin, Grend, Gunnison, Hinsdale, Huerfano, Jackson, Jefferson, Kiowa, Kit Carson, Lake, La Plata, Larimer, Los Animas, Lincoln, Logan, Mesa, Mineral, Moffett, Montezuma, Montrose, Morgan, Otero, Murray, Park, Phillips, Pittston, Prowers, Pueblo, Rio Blanco, Rio Grande, Route, Saguache, San Juan, San Miguel, Sedgwick, Summit, Teller, Washington, Weld, and Yuma. In Connecticut: Fairfield, Hartford, Litchfield, Middlesex, New Haven, New London, Tolland, and Windham. In Delaware: Kent, Newcastle, and Sussex. In Florida: Alachua, Baker, Bay, Bradford, Brevard, Calhoun, Charlotte, Citrus, Clay, Collier, Columbia, DeSoto, Dixie, Duval, Escambia, Flagler, Franklin, Gadsden, Gilchrist, Glades, Gulf, Hamilton, Hardy, Hendry, Hernando, Highlands, Hillsborough, Holmes, Indian River, Jackson, Jefferson, Lafayette, Lake, Lee, Leon, Levy, Liberty, Madison, Manatee, Marion, Martin, Miami-Dade, Monroe, Nassau, Okaloosa, Okeechobee, Orange, Palm Beach, Pasco, Pinellas, Polk, Putnam, St. John's, St. Lucie, Santa Rosa, Sarasota, Seminole, Sumter, Suwanee, Taylor, Union, Volusia, Wakulla, Walton, and Washington. In Georgia: Appling, Atkinson, Bacon, Baker, Baldwin, Banks, Barrow, Bartow, Ben Hill, Berrien, Bibb, Bleckley, Brantley, Brooks, Bryan, Bullock, Burke, Butts, Calhoun, Camden, Candler, Carroll, Catoosa, Charlton, Chatham, Chattahoochee, Chattooga, Cherokee, Clark, Clay, Clayton, Clinch, Cobb, Coffee, Colquitt, Columbier, Cook, Coweta, Crawford, Crisp, Dade, Dawson, DeKalb, Decatur, Dodge, Dooley Doherty, Douglas, Oley, Etchells, Effingham, Albert, Emmanuel, Evans, Fannin, Fayette, Floyd, Forsyth, Franklin, Fulton, Gilmer, Glasscock, Glidden, Gordon, Grady, Green, Gwinnett, Hebersham, Hull, Hancock, Haralson, Harris, Hart, Hurt, Henry, Houston, Owen, Jackson, Jasper, Jeff Davis, Jefferson, Jenkins, Johnson, Jones, Lamar, Lanier, Lawrence, Lee, Liberty, Lincoln, Long, Lowndes, Lumpkin, Macon, Madison, Marion, McDuffie, McIntosh, Meriwether, Miller, Mitchell, Monroe, Montgomery, Morgan, Murray, Muskogee, Newton, Oconee, Oglethorpe, Paulding, Peach, Pickens, Pierce, Pike, Polk, Pulaski, Putnam, Quitman, Rabun, Randolph, Richmond, Rockdale, Sly, Scriven, Seminole, Spalding, Stephens, Stewart, Sumter, Talbot, Taliaferro, Tatnall, Taylor, Telfer, Terrell, Thomas, Tift, Toombs, Towns, Trentland, Trupp, Turner, Twiggs, Union, Upson, Walker, Walton, Ware Warren, Washington, Wayne, Webster, Wheeler, White, Whitfield, Wilcox, Wilkes, Wilkinson, Entworth. In Hawaii, Honolulu, Kalawao, Kauai, and Maui. In Idaho, 8 Adams, Bannock, Bear Lake, Benua, Bingham, Blaine, Boise, Bonner, Bonneville, Boundary, Butte, Camas, Canyon, Caribou, Cassia, Clark, Clearwater, Custer, Elmore, Franklin, Fremont, Gem, Gooding, Idaho, Jefferson, Jerome, Kootenai, Lada, Lemhi, Lewis, Lincoln, Madison, Minidoka, Nez Perce, Oneida, Yawahee, Payette, Power, Shoshone, Teton, Twin Falls, Valley, and Washington. In Illinois, Adams, Alexander, Bond, Boone, Brown, Bureau, Calhoun, Carroll, Cass, Champaign, Christian, Clark, Clay, Clinton, Coles, Cook, Crawford, Cumberland, DeKalb, DeWitt, Douglas, Dupage, Edgar, Edwards, Effingham, Fayette, Ford, Franklin, Fulton, Gallatin, Greene, Grundy, Hamilton, Hancock, Hardin, Henderson, Henry, Iroquois, Jackson, Jasper, Jefferson, Jersey, Joe Daviess, Johnson, Kane, Kankakee Kendall, Knox, LaSalle, Lake, Lawrence, Lee, Livingston, Logan, McDonough, McHenry, McLean, Macon, Macoupin, Madison, Marion, Marshall, Mason, Massac, Maynard, Mercer, Monroe, Montgomery, Morgan, Moultrie, Ogle, Peoria, Perry, Pitt, Pike, Pope, Pulaski, Putnam, Randolph, Richland, Rock Island, Saline, Sangamon, Schuyler, Scott, Shelby, St. Clair, Stark, Stephenson, Tazewell, Union, Vermilion, Wabash, Warren, Washington, Wayne, White, Whiteside, Lowell, Williamson, Winnebago, and Woodford. In Indiana, Adams, Allen, Bartholomew, Benton, Blackford, Boone, Brown, Carroll, Cass, Clark, Clay, Clinton, Crawford, Daviess, Dearborn, Decatur, DeKalb, Delaware, Dubois, Elkhart, Fayette, Floyd, Fountain, Franklin, Fulton, Gibson, Grant, Greene, Hamilton, Hancock, Harrison, Hendricks, Henry, Howard, Huntington, Jackson, Jasper, J. Jefferson, Jennings, Johnson, Knox, Kosciuszko, LaPorte, LaGrange, Lake, Lawrence, Madison, Marion, Marshall, Martin, Miami, Monroe, Montgomery, Morgan, Newton, Noble, Ohio, Orange, Owen, Park, Porter, Posey, Pulaski, Putnam, Pandolph, Ripley, Rush, St. Joseph, Scott, Shelby, Spencer, Stark, Steuben, Sullivan, Switzerland, Tippecanoe, Tipton, Union, Vanderbilt, Vermilion, Vigo, Wabash, Warren, Warwick, Washington, Wayne, Wells, White, and Whitley. In Iowa, Adair, Adams, Allamakee, Apanis, Audubon, Benton, Black Hawk, Boone, Bremer, Buchanan, Buena Vista, Butler, Calhoun, Carroll, Cass, Cedar, Cerro Gordo, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Clark, Clay, Clayton, Clinton, Crawford, Dallas, Davis, Decatur, Delaware, Des Moines, Dickinson, Dubuque, Emmett, Fayette, Floyd, Franklin, Fremont, Greene, Grundy, Guthrie, Hamilton, Hancock, Hardin, Harrison, Henry, Howard, Humboldt. Ida, Iowa, Jackson, Jasper, Jefferson, Johnson, Jones, Keokuk, Kossuth, Lee, Lytton, Louisa, Lucas, Lyon, Madison, Mahaska, Marion, Marshall, Mills, Monona, Monroe, Montgomery, Muscadine, O'Brien, Osceola, Page, Palo Alto, Plymouth, Pocahontas, Polk, Pottawatomie, Powesque, Ringgold, Sac, Scott, Shelby, Sioux, Story, Tama, Taylor, Union, Van Buren, Wapello, Warren, Washington, Wayne, Webster, Winnebago, Winneshiek, Woodbury, Worth, and White. In Kansas, Allen, Anderson, Atchison, Barber, Barton, Bourbon, Brown, Butler, Chase, Chautauqua, Cherokee, Cheyenne, Clark, Clay, Cloud, Coffee, Comanche, Cully, Crawford, Decatur, Dickinson, Donovan, Douglas, Edwards, Elk, Ellis, Ellsworth, Finney, Ford, Franklin, Deary, Guff, Graham, Grant, Gray, Greeley, Greenwood, Hamilton, Harper, Harvey, Haskell, Hodgman, Jackson, Jefferson, Jewell, Johnson, Kearney, Kingman, Kiowa, Labette, Lane, Leavenworth, Lincoln, Lytton, Logan, Lyon, Marion, Marshall, McPherson, Meade, Miami Mitchell, Montgomery, Morris, Morton, Nemaha, Neosho, Ness, Norton, Osage, Osborne, Ottawa, Pawnee, Phillips, Pottawatomie, Pratt, Rollins, Reno, Republic, Rice, Riley, Rooks, Rush, Russell, Saline, Scott, Sedgwick, Seward, Shawnee, Sheridan, Sherman, Smith, Stafford, Stanton, Stevens, Sumner, Thomas, Trego, Waubonsee, Wallace, Washington, Wichita, Wilson, Woodson, and Wyandotte. In Kentucky, Adair, Allen, Anderson, Ballard, Barron, Bath, Bell, Boone, Boorman, Boyd, Boyle, Bracken, Breathitt, Brick, Kindred, Bullitt, Butler, Caldwell, Callaway, Campbell, Carlisle, Carroll, Carter, Casey, Christian, Clark, Clay, Clinton, Crittenden, Cumberland, Davies, Edmondson, Elliott, Estill, Fayette, Fleming, Floyd, Franklin, Fulton, Gallatin, Garrett, Grant, Graves, Grayson, Green, Greenup, Hancock, Hardin, Harlan, Harrison, Hart, Henderson, Henry, Higman, Hopkins, Jackson, Jefferson, Jessamine, Johnson, Kenton, Knott, Knox, Laird, Laurel, Lawrence, Lee, Leslie, Letcher, Lewis, Lincoln, Livingston, Logan, Lyon, McCracken, McCreary, McLean, Madison, Magathon, Marion, Marshall, Martin, Mason, Meade, Menifee, Mercer, Metcalf, Monroe, Montgomery, Morgan, Muhlenberg, Nelson, Nicholas, Ohio, Oldham, Ounce, Lee, Pendleton, Perry, Pike, Powell, Pulaski, Robertson, Rockesville, Rowan, Russell, Scott, Shelby, Simpson, Spencer, Taylor, Todd, Trigg, Trimby, Union, Warren, Washington, Wayne, Webster, Whitley, Wolf, and Woodford. The following parishes in Louisiana: Acadia, Allen, Ascension, Assumption, Avoyelles, Beauregard, Bienville, Bossier, Caddo, Calcasieu, Caldwell, Cameron, Catahoula, Claiborne, Concordia, DeSoto, East Baton Rouge, East Carroll, East Feliciana, Evangeline, Franklin, Grant, Iberia, Iberville, Jackson, Jefferson, Davis, La Salle, Lafayette, Lafayette, Lincoln, Livingston, Madison, Morehouse, Natchitoches, Orleans, Ouachita, Plaquemines, Pointe Coupé, Rapides, Red River, Richland, Sabine, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. Helena, St. James, St. John the Baptist, St. Landry, St. Martin, St. Mary, St. Tammany, Tangapahoa, Tensas, Terrebonne, Union, Vermilion, Vernon, Washington, Webster, West Baton Rouge, West Carroll, West Feliciana, and win the following counties. In Maine, Androscoggin, Narrows, Took, Cumberland, Franklin, Hancock, Kennebec, Knox, Lincoln, Oxford, Penobscot, Piscataquis, Sagadahoc, Somerset, Waldo, Washington, York. In Maryland, Allegheny and Arundel, Baltimore City, Calvert, Caroline, Carroll, Cecil, Charles, Dorchester, Frederick, Garrett, Hartford, Howard, Kent, Montgomery, Prince George's, Queen Anne, St. Mary's, Somerset, Dulwich, Washington, Wicomico, Worcester in Massachusetts, Barnstable, Berkshire, Bristol, Dukes, Essex, Franklin, Hampton, Hampshire, Middlesex, Nantucket, Norfolk, Plymouth, Suffolk, Worcester in Michigan, Alcone, Alger, Allegan, Alpena, Antrim, Merrimack, Baraga, Barry Bay, Benzie, Berrien, Branch, Cahoon, Cass, Charlevoix, Sheboygan, Chippewa, Larrick, Linden, Crawford, Delta, Dickinson, Eaton, Emmett, Genesee, Gladwin, Gajevic, Grand Traverse, Gratiot, Hillsdale, Houghton, Huron, Ingham, Iosco, Iron, Isabella, Jackson, Kalamazoo, Kalkaska, Kent, Keweenaw, Lake Lapeer, Lenape, Livingston, Luce, Mackinac, Macomb, Manistee, Marquette, Mason, Mecosta, Menominee, Midland, Woosaki, Monroe, Montcalm, Montmorency, Muskegon, Newaygo, Oakland, Oceanaga, Ontonagon, Ascelia, Escoda, Otsego, Ottawa, Presque Isle, Roscommon, Saginaw, St. Clair, St. Joseph, Sanilac, Lac, Schoolcraft, Shiawassee, Tuscola, Van Buren, Washington, Wayne, Wexford, and Minnesota. 8. Kinanoka, Becker, Beltrami, Benton, Big Stone, Blue Earth, Brown, Carlton, Carver, Cass, Chippewa, Sago, Clay, Clearwater, Cook, Cottonwood, Crow Wing, Dakota, Dodge, Douglas, Faribault, Fillmore, Freeborn, Goodhue, Grant, Hennepin, Houston, Hubbard, Isanti, Itasca, Jackson, Kennebec, Candy, Iohi, Kitson, Couchiching, Lackey, Parra, Lake of the Woodless, Erlincoln, Lyon, Manoman, Marshall, Martin, McLeod, Meeker, Millax, Morrison, Moore, Marina, Collett, Nobles, Norman, Olmsted, Ottertail, Pennington, Pine, Pipistone, Pope, Ramsey, Red Lake, Redwood, Renville, Rice Rock, Rosso, St. Louis, Scott, Sherburne, Sibley, Stearns, Steele, Stevens, Swift, Todd, Traverse, Waukesha, Wadena, Waseca, Washington, Watonwan, Wilkin, Winona Wright, Yellow Medicine in Missouri, Adair, Andrew, Atchison, Audrain, Barry, Barton, Bates, Benton, Bollinger, Boone, Buchanan, Butler, Caldwell, Callaway, Camden, Cape Girardeau, Carroll, Carter, Cass, Cedar, Chariton, Christian, Clark, Clay, Clinton, Cole, Cooper, Crawford, Dade, Dallas, Davies, D. Call, Dent, Douglas, Dunklin, Franklin, Gasconade, Gentry, Green, Grundy, Harrison, Henry, Hickory, Holt, Howard, Howell, Iron, Jackson, Jasper, Jefferson, Johnson, Knox, Laclede, Lafayette, Lawrence, Lewis, Lincoln, Lynn, Livingston, Macon, Madison, Maurice, Marion, McDonald, Mercer, Miller, Mississippi, Monroe, Monroe, Montgomery, Morgan, New Madrid, Newton, Nottoway, Oregon, Osage, Ozark, Pemiscot, Perry, Pettis, Phelps, Pike, Platte, Polk, Pulaski, Putnam, Rawls, Randolph, Ray, Reynolds, Ripley, St. Charles, St. Clair, Sweet, Genevieve, St. Francois, St. Louis City, Saline, Schuyler, Scotland, Scotch, Haddon, Shelby, Stoddard, Stone, Sullivan, Taney, Texas, Vernon, Warren, Washington, Wayne, Webster, Worth, Redden, Mississippi, Adams, Alcorn, Amata, Tala, Benton, Bolivar, Cahoon, Carroll, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Claiborne, Clark, Clay, Oklahoma, Copiac, Covington, DeSoto, Forest, Franklin, George, Green, Grenada, Hancock, Harrison, Hines, Holmes, Humphreys, Isaac, Queen, Alabama, Jackson, Jasper, Jefferson, Davis, Jones, Kemper, Lafayette, Lamar, Lauderdale, Lawrence, Lee, Leflore, Lincoln, Lowndes, Madison, Marion, Marshall, Monroe, Montgomery, Neshoba, Newton, Knoxville, Octobie, Panela, Pearl River, Perry, Pike, Pontotoc, Prentice, Quitman, Rankin, Scott, Sharkey, Simpson, Smith, Stone, Sunflower, Tallahatchie, Date, Tapatish, Mingo, Tunica, Union, Walthall, Warren, Washington, Wayne, Webster, Wilkinson, Winston, Yalabashi, Yazoo, Montana, Beaverhead, Bighorn, Blaine, Broadwater, Carbon, Carter, Cascade, Chowdo, Custer, Daniels, Dawson, Dillodge, Fallon, Fergus, Flathead, Gallatin, Garfield, Glacier, Golden Valley, Granite, Hill, Jefferson, Judith Basin, Lake, Lewis and Clark, Liberty, Lincoln, Macomb, Madison, Meager, Mineral, Missoula, Musselshell, Park, Petroleum, Phillips, Pondera, Powder River, Powell, Prairie, Ravalli, Richland, Roosevelt, Rosebud, Sanders, Sheridan, Silver Bow, Stillwater, Sweetgrass, Teton, Dowell, Treasure Valley, Wheatland, Whippox, Yellowstone. In Nebraska, Adams, Antelope, Arthur, Banner, Blaine, Boone, Box, Butte, Boyd, Brown, Buffalo, Burt, Butler, Cass, Cedar, Chase, Cherry, Cheyenne, Clay, Colfax, Cumming, Custer, Dakota, Dawson, Dual, Dixon, Dodge, Douglas, Dundee, Fillmore, Franklin, Frontier, Furnace, Gage, Garden, Garfield, Gosper, Grant, Greeley, Hull, Hamilton, Harlan, Hayes, Hitchcock, Holtz, Hooker, Howard, Jefferson, Johnson, Kearney, Keith, Keopata, Kimball, Knox, Lancaster, Lincoln, Logan, Lupp, McPherson, Madison, Merrick, Mortal, Mass, Namaha, Knuckles, Otopawnee, Perkins, Phelps, Pierce, Platte, Pocred, Willow, Richardson, Roxaline, Sarpy, Saunders, Scotts Bluff, Seward, Sheridan, Sherman, Sioux, Stanton, Thayer, Thomas, Thurston Valley, Washington, Wayne, Webster, Wheeler, York, Nevada, Carson City, Churchill, Clark, Douglas, Alco, Esmeralda, Eureka, Humboldt, Lander, Lincoln, Lyon, Mineral, Knight, Pershing, Story, Washoe, White Pine in New Hampshire, Belknap, Carroll, Cheshire, Cools, Grafton, Hillsborough, Merrimack, Rockingham, Stratford, Sullivan in New Jersey, Atlantic, Bergen, Burlington, Camden, Cape May, Cumberland, Essex, Gloucester, Hudson, Hunterdon, Mercer, Middlesex, Monmouth, Morris, Ocean, Passaic, Salem, Somerset, Sussex, Union, Warren and New Mexico, Bernalillo, Catron, Shabe, Cibola, Colfax, Greedy, Bacadona, Eddy, Grant, Guadalupe, Harding, Hidalgo, Lincoln, Los Alamos, Luna, McKinley, Mora, Tarroquerio, Riba, Roosevelt, Sandoval, San Juan, San Miguel, Santa Fe, Sierra, Socorro, Taos, Torrance, Union, Valencia. In New York, Albany, Allegheny, Bronx, Broome, Cattaraugus, Cayuga, Chautauqua, Chemung, Chenango, Clinton, Columbia, Cortland, Delaware, Dutchess, Erie, Essex, Franklin, Fulton, Genesee, Greene, Hamilton, Herkimer, Jefferson, Kings, Lewis, Livingston, Madison, Monroe, Montgomery, Nassau, New York City, Niagara, Oneida, Onondaga, Ontario, Orange, Orleans, Oswego, Otsego, Putnam, Queens, Rensselaer, Richmond, Rockland, St. Lawrence, Saratoga, Schenectady, Shottery, Schuyler, Seneca, Steuben, Suffolk, Sullivan, Shiaga, Tompkins, Ulster, Warren, Washington, Wayne, Westchester, Wyoming, Yates. In North Carolina, Alamance, Alexander, Allegheny, Anson, Ashabury, Beaufort, Bertie, Bladden, Brunswick, Buncombe, Burke, Cabarrus, Caldwell, Camden, Carteret, Caswell, Catawba, Chatham, Cherokee, Chowan, Clay, Cleveland, Columbus, Craven, Cumberland, Carduck, Dare, Davidson, Davie, Duplin, Medjugorje, Forsyth, Franklin, Gaston, Gates, Graham, Granville, Greene, Guilford, Halifax, Harnett, Haywood, Henderson, Hertford, Hook, Hyde, Iredell, Jackson, Johnston, Jones, Leland, Lincoln, McDowell, Macon, Madison, Martin, Mecklenburg, Mitchell, Montgomery, Monash, New Hanover, Northampton, Onslow, Orange, Pamlico, Pasqua, Tank, Pender, Perk, Weemans, Person, Pitpoke, Randolph, Richmond, Robeson, Rockingham, Rowan, Rutherford, Sampson, Scotland, Stanley, Stokes, Cerise, Wayne, Transylvania, Tittle, Union, Vanswyck, Warren, Washington, Watauga, Wayne, Wilkes, Wilson, Yadkin, Yancey. In North Dakota, Adams, Barnes, Benson, Billings, Bottono, Bowman, Burke, Burleigh, Cass, Cavalier, Dickey, Divide, Dunedin, Emmons, Foster, Golden Valley, Grand Forks, Grant, Griggs, Hetty, Nercator, Lamore, Logan, McHenry, McIntosh, Mackenzie, McLean, Mercer, Morton, Mountrail, Nelson, Oliver, Pembina, Pierce, Ramsey, Ransom, Renville, Richland, Rowlett, Sergeant, Sheridan, Sioux Slopes, Stark, Steele, Stutzman, Towner, Trail, Walsh, Ward, Wills, Williams. In Ohio, Adams, Allen, Ashland, Ashtabula, Athens, Augusta, Belmont, Brown, Butler, Carroll, Champaign, Clark, Clermont, Clinton, Columbianica, Shockton, Crawford, Cuyahoga, Dark, Defiance, Delaware, Erie, Fairfield, Fayette, Franklin, Fulton, Caliajoga, Greene, Guernsey, Hamilton, Hancock, Hardin, Harrison, Henry, Highland, Hocking, Holmes, Huron, Jackson, Jefferson, Knox, Lake Lawrence, Licking, Logan, Lorain, Lucas, Madison, Mahoning, Marion, Medina, Meeks, Mercer, Miami, Monroe, Montgomery, Morgan, Morrow, Muskingum, Noble, Ottawa, Paulding, Perry, Pickaway, Pike, Portage, Preble, Putnam, Richland, Ross, Sandusky, Scioto, Seneca, Shelby, Stark, Summit, Trumbull, Dusk, Rawlins, Union, Van Wert, Vinton, Warren, Washington, Wayne, Williams, Wood, Wyandotte, Oklahoma, Adair, Alfalfa, Atoka, Beaver, Beckham, Blaine, Bryan, Caddo, Canadian, Carter, Cherokee, Choctaw, Cimarron, Cleveland, Cole, Comanche, Cotton, Craig Creek, Custer, Delaware, Dewey, Ellis, Garfield, Garvin, Grady, Grant, Greer, Harmon, Harper, Haskell, Hughes, Jackson, Jefferson, Johnston, Caking, Fisher, Kiowa, Latimer, LaFleur, Lincoln, Logan, Love, McLean, McCurtain, McIntosh, Major, Marshall, Maismery, Muskogee, Noble, Nowat, Okfuskee, Oklahoma, Okmulgee, Osage, Ottawa, Pawnee, Paint, Pittsburgh, Pontotoc, Potawatomi, Pushmataher, Roger Mills, Rogers, Seminole, Sequoia, Stephens, Texas, Tillman, Tulsa, Wagoner, Washington, Washita, Woodswood, Warden, Oregon, Baker, Benton, Clackamas, Clatsop, Columbier, Cools Crook, Curry, Deschutes, Douglas, Gilliam, Grant, Harney, Hood River, Jackson, Jefferson, Josephine, Klamath, Lake, Lane, Lincoln, Lytton, Malheur, Marion, Morrow, Multnomah, Polk, Sherman, Tillamook, Umatilla, Union, Willowa, Wasco, Washington, Wheeler, Yamhill in Pennsylvania, Adams, Allegheny, Armstrong, Beaver, Bedford, Berks, Blair, Bradford, Bucks, Butler, Cambria, Cameron, Carbon, Center, Chester, Clarion, Clearfield, Clinton, Columbia, Crawford, Cumberland, Dauphin, Delaware, Elk, Erie, Fayette, Forest, Franklin, Fulton, Greene, Huntington, Indiana, Jefferson, Junetta, Lackawanna, Lancaster, Lawrence, Lebanon, Lehigh, Luzerne, Lycoming, McKean, Mercer, Mifflin, Monroe, Montgomery, Monter, Northampton, Northumberland, Perry, Philadelphia, Pike, Potter, Schuylkill, Snyder, Somerset, Sullivan, Susquehanna, Shiaga, Union, Venango, Warren, Washington, Wayne, Westmoreland, Wyoming, York and Rhode Island, Bristol, Kent, Newport, Providence, Washington. In South Carolina, Abbeville, Aiken, Allendale, Anderson, Bamberg, Barnwell, Beaufort, Berkeley, Cahoon, Charleston, Cherokee, Chester, Chesterfield, Clarendon, Colleton, Darlington, Dillon, Dorchester, Edgefield, Fairfield, Florence, Georgetown, Greenville, Greenwood, Hampton, Horry, Jasper, Kershaw, Lancaster, Lawrence, Lee, Lexington, McCormick, Marion, Marlborough, Newberry, Oconee, Orangeburg, Pickens, Richland, Saluda, Spartanburg, Sumter, Union, Williamsburg, York and South Carolina, Aurora, Beetle, Bennett, Bonham, Brookings, Brown, Brule, Buffalo, Butte, Campbell, Charles, Mix, Clark, Clay, Eddington, Corson, Custer, Davis, and Daydoyle, Dewey, Douglas, Edmonds, Fall River, Falk, Grant, Gregory, Hawken, Hamlin, Hand, Hanson, Harding, Hughes, Hutchinson, High, Jackson, Gerald, Jones, Kingsbury, Lake Lawrence, Lincoln, Lyman, McCook, McPherson, Marshall, Meade, Millett, Minor, Minnehaha, Moody, Pennington, Perkins, Potter, Roberts, Sanborn, Shannon, Spink, Stanley, Sully, Todd, Tripp, Turner, Union, Walworth, Yankton, Zebach, Tennessee, Anderson, Bedford, Benton, Bledsoe, Blount, Bradley, Campbell, Cannon, Carroll, Carter, Cheatham, Chester, Claiborne, Clayco, Coffee, Crockett, Cumberland, Davidson, Decatur, DeKalb, Dixon, Dyer, Fayette, Fentress, Franklin, Gibson, Giles, Gradinger, Green, Grundy, Hamlin, Hamilton, Hancock, Hardman, Hardin, Hawkins, Haywood, Henderson, Henry, Higman, Houston, Humphreys, Jackson, Jefferson, Johnson, Knox, Lake, Lauderdale, Lawrence, Lewis, Lincoln, Loudon, McMinn, McNary, Macon, Madison, Marion, Marshall, Morey, Meeks, Monroe, Montgomery, Moore, Morgan, Abin, Overdone, Perry, Pickett, Polk, Putnam, Rio, Robertson, Rutherford, Scott, Sequatchie, Sevier, Shelby, Smith, Stewart, Sullivan, Sumner, Tipton, Trousdale, Unicoi, Union, Van Buren, Warren, Washington, Wayne, Weekly, White, Williamson, Wilson, and Texas, Anderson, Andrews, Angelina, Aransas, Archer, Armstrong, Atascosa, Austin, Bailey, Bandera, Bastrop, Baylor, B. Bell, Bear, Blanco, Borden, Bosque, Bowie, Brazoria, Brazos, Brewster, Briscoe, Brooks, Brown, Burleson, Burnett, Caldwell, Cahoon, Callahan, Cameron, Kemp, Carson, Cass, Castro, Chambers, Cherokee, Childress, Clay, Cochran, Coke, Coleman, Collin, Killingsworth, Colorado, Cummel, Comanche, Concho, Cook, Coriel, Cottle, Crane, Crockett, Crosby, Culberson, Dallam, Dallas, Dawson, Deaf, Smith, Delta, Denton, DeWitt, Dickens, Dimmitt, Donnelly, Duval, Eastland, Dector, Edwards, Ellis, El Paso, Earth Falls, Fannin, Fayette, Fisher, Floyd, Ford, Fort Bend, Franklin, Freestone, Frio, Gaines, Galveston, Garza, Gillespie, Glasscock, Goliad, Gonzales, Gray, Grayson, Greg, Grimes, Guadalupe, Hale, Hull, Hamilton, Hansford, Hardman, Hardin, Harris, Harrison, Hartley, Haskell, Hayes, Hemphill, Henderson, Hidalgo, Hill, Hockley, Hood, Hopkins, Houston, Howard, Hudspeth, Hunt, Hutchinson, Arian, Jack Jackson, Jasper, Jeff Davis, Jefferson, Jim Hogg, Jim Wells, Johnson, Jones, Carnes, Kaufman, Kendall, Kennedy, Kent, Kirk, Kimball, Kinkady, Klepperg, Knox, Lamar, Lamb, Lampasas, La Salle, Abaca, Leon, Liberty, Limestone, Lipscomb, Live, Oakland, Loving, Lubbock, Lynn, McCulloch, McLennan, McMullen, Madison, Marion, Martin, Mason, Matagorda, Maverick, Medina, Menard, Midland, Millam, Mills, Mitchell, Montag, Montgomery, Moore, Morris, Motley, Nacogdoches, Dutchess, Navarro, Newton, Nolan, Nueces, Ochiltree, Oldham, Orange, Palo Pinto, Panela, Parker, Palmer, Pecos, Spoke, Potter, Presidio, Rains, Randall, Reagan, Real Red River, Eves, Refugia, Roberts, Robertson, Rockwall, Reynolds, Rusk, Sabine, San Augustine, San Jacinto, San Patricio, San Sabas, Cleacher, Scree, Shackelford, Shelby, Sherman, Smith, Somerville, Star, Stephens, Sterling, Stonewall, Sutton, Swisher, Tarrant, Taylor, Terrell, Terry, Throckmorton, Titus, Dom, Green, Travis, Trinity, Tyler, Upshur, Upton, Uvalde, Belford, Van Zant, Victoria, Walker, Wilder, Ward, Washington, Webb, Wharton, Wheeler, Wichita, Wilberger, Willis, E. Williamson, Wilson, Winkler, Wisewood, Yoakum, Young, Zapata, Zabala. In Utah, Beaver, Box, Elder, Cash, Carbon, Daggett, Davis, Dutch, Huston, Emery, Garfield, Grand Iron, Joab, Kane, Millard, Morgan, Pilgridge, Salt Lake, San Juan, San Pete, Sevier, Summit, Tualunta, Utah, Wasatch, Washington, Wayne, Webburn, Vermont, Addison, Bennington, Caledonia, Chittenden, Essex, Franklin, Grand Isle, Lammermoor, and Orleans, Rutland, Washington. Wyndham, Windsor in Virginia, Accomack, Albemarle, Allegheny, Amelia, Amherst, Appomattox, Arlington, Augusta, Bath, Bedford, Bland, Boddart, Brunswick, Buchanan, Buckingham, Campbell, Caroline, Carroll, Charles City, Charlotte, Chesterfield, Clark, Craig, Culpeper, Cumberland, Dickinson, Dinwiddie, Essex, Fairfax, Fauquier, Floyd, Fluvanna, Franklin, Frederick, Giles, Gloucester, Goochland, Grayson, Green, Greensville, Halifax, Hanover, Henrico, Henry, Highland, Isle of Wight, James City, King, and Queen, King George, King William, Lancaster, Lee, Loudon, Louisa, Lunenburg, Madison, Matthews, Mecklenburg, Middlesex, Montgomery, Nelson, New Kent, Northampton, Northumberland, Nottoway, Orange, Page, Patrick, Pittsylvania, Powhatan, Prince Edward, Prince George, Prince William, Pulaski, Rappahannock, Richmond, Roanoke, Rockbridge, Rockingham, Russell, Scott, Shenandoah, Smith, Southampton, Spotsylvania, Stafford, Surrey, Sussex, Missoula, Warren, Washington, Westmoreland, Wadsworth, York, and Washington, Adams, Assendon, Benton, Shell, and Clallam, Clark, Columbia, Cowlitz, Douglas Ferry, Franklin, Garfield, Grant, Grace, Harper Island, Jefferson, Kinkatap, Kittitas, Clicketat, Lewis, Lincoln, Mason, Okanagan, Pacific, Pandora, Pierce, San Juan, Skagit, Camanias, Nohemish, Spokane, Stevens, Thurston, Waukegan, Walla Walla, Whatcom, Whitman, Yakima, and West Virginia, Barber, Berkeley, Boone, Braxton, Brook, Cabell, Cahoon, Clay, Doddridge, Fayette, Gilmer, Grant, Green, Breer, Hampshire, Hancock, Hardy, Harrison, Jackson, Jefferson, Kanawha, Lewis, Lincoln, Logan, McDowell, Marion, Marshall, Mason, Mercer, Mineral, Mingo, Monongahela, Monroe, Morgan, Nicholas, Ohio, Pendleton, Pleasants, Pocahontas, Preston, Putnam, Raleigh, Randolph, Rich, Huron, Summers, Taylor, Tucker, Tyler, Upshur, Wayne, Webster, Wetzel, Wyrtwood, Wyoming. In Wisconsin, Adams, Ashland, Barron, Bayfield, Brown, Buffalo, Burnett, Calumet, Chippewa, Clark, Columbia, Crawford, Dane, Dodge, Door, Douglas, Dunn, Eau Claire, Florence, Fonda, Dulac, Forest, Grant, Green, Green Lake, Iowa, Iron, Jackson, Jefferson, Juneau, Kenosha, Kewanee, La Crosse, Lafayette, Langlade, Lincoln, Manitowoc, Marathon, Marinette, Marquette, Menominee, Milwaukee, Monroe, Oconto, Oneida, Outagamie, Yazaki, Pepin, Pierce, Spoke, Portage, Price, Racine, Richland, Rockrusk, St. Croix, Sauk, Sawyer, Shawano, Sheboygan, Taylor, Trempe, Lovern, and Vilas, Walworth, Washburn, Washington, Waukesha, Wapaka, Washoe, Winnebago, Woodin, Wyoming, Albany, Bighorn, Campbell, Carbon, Converse, Crook, Fremont, Goshen, Hot Springs, Johnson, Laramie, Lincoln, Natrona, Niobrara Park, Platte, Sheridan, Sublette, Sweetwater, Tetenuta, Washakie, Weston, and the District of Columbia until further notice. A few tornadoes are likely with a couple of intense tornadoes possible. Widespread large hail likely with most storms. Remember, a tornado watch means conditions are favorable for tornadoes and severe thunderstorms in and close to the watch area. Persons in these areas shall be on the lookout for threatening weather conditions and listen for later statements and possible warnings.